Of course, when I try to go film her, she goes back to being lazy. She was being all playful and sweet and everything, and now she's just going back to being all lazy. And I try to film her. She's very camera shy for some reason. You're very camera shy. Anywho, though, I decided to go ahead. I forgot that there was one thing I forgot to address within the last explanation video I made. And it was the whole deal regarding about people claiming I've never tried to move on. No, I've tried to move on countless times. And people usually try to bring in, someone always tries to bring me back into the nonsense in some shape or another. Like, for real. I mean, at this point, I'm basically in the same route, or boat, or whatever, as El Dorado. That's his, channel name now. He's tried to go on how many hiatuses or whatever they're called, only to come back because, he can't ignore Arthur. And let's be real, my main issue is I can't ignore her either, I'll at least own up to that. At the end of the day, we're all very prideful individuals. We're never going to be able to ignore or truly move on when it's all said and done. The only way anybody's really ever going to truly move on is when they die. Let's just keep it real on that. So, yeah. When they just cease to exist altogether. So, yeah. But no, the first time I tried moving on literally was when I had just simply apologized to both Chayton and Arthur for constantly talking crap about them, and voiced my opinion regarding Daniela. Opinions that really was just voiced as an opinion and nothing more during that time, but turned out to be true later on down the line. So yeah, something I never received an apology for, I might add. Which no surprise, because the people who owed me one, they can't swallow the pride enough to save their life. Let's just keep it real on that. So, yes, of course they're not going to apologize. But no, at the end of the day, the main ones that were really going at me over simply being apologetic back in the day was, Dark Horse during that time, obviously, was one of them. I think, a couple of people who followed him was, I wouldn't say that they were, like, really bad about it, but it was more of a situation where they just gave their opinion on it, but yeah. Mama Bear and Jordan were a couple of others that was, pretty bad about, getting on my case like crazy for simply being apologetic and voicing my opinion about Daniela. So yeah. And, obviously, the entire Big and Biggest Bastards was, and also Mama Bear and Jordan were part of the BHC during that time too. Another reason why I thought the BHC was behind the whole deal with trying to dox me and everything because of, being apologetic. So yeah. Which, that could have been related to something else, because right before I was ever being apologetic to Chayton and Arthur like that, I had another group of individuals who wanted to harass me and everything else, all because I wouldn't jump on the let's hate otaku bandwagon. Because honestly, everything people would show me was nothing but a bunch of he said, she said nonsense. There was no substantial proof to back up any of the claims made about otaku. So yeah, plus otaku's never really said or done nothing to me, so why should I blindly hate on the guy? Like, make it make sense. So yeah. But nonetheless, though, yeah, there were plenty of times I've tried moving on. That was the first time I tried moving on. And again, people kept trying to bring me in the crap, giving me the third freaking degree, which I'm going to be honest, who gives a shit if I'm being apologetic to two people and voicing my opinion about somebody else? It's a free fucking country. I should be allowed to be, as apologetic as I want to be. Like, for real. That's why I think it's funny now when people have a problem with me not being as apologetic and everything. It's like, why should I? The last time I was apologetic, I was vilified like crazy for it. So why in the world would I try to be apologetic now? Make it make sense. So, yeah. Yeah, that was the first time I tried to just simply move on and everything. And yeah, I had people going at me like crazy. And because of some misunderstandings, it caused me to lash out. So, yeah. And then even when I tried to apologize from that and move on and everything, again, had another person trying to come into my comment section to start more crap, to drag me back into the nonsense. This happens every single time. Every single time I try to move on in any, shape or form. One or multiple people from that side try to start crap with me in my comment section or whatever. That's the reason why I'm at the point where, like, I just block them all. Not only from commenting, but I even block them within stream, so I can't even see what they're saying. So that way, it helps me to ignore better. The problem is people still send stuff that of what they're saying every now and then, which I've even got onto them about that. I'm like, people claim I'm the one that sends stuff about people saying this or saying that. Like, no, it's not me doing it. It's this person doing it. I'm not going to throw the person under the bus, so that's why I'm not mentioning his name. But still, nonetheless, though, I'm not the one that tries to keep shit stirred up as much as, you have no research doing morons wanting to accuse me of. Like, for real. So, yeah. But people are going to keep talking out their ass anyway, so it's whatever. But yeah, I think this is pretty much all I really have to say regarding any of it, hopefully, so I can finally actually move on and go back to my chill positive gaming content. Hopefully it'll stay like that, but like I said, I've tried moving on countless times, and every time I do, someone always tries to start more shit and get it all going all over again, so yeah.